Well, sometimes life gets you to thinking about things differently. So I know I've been coming on here and been saying what my plan was and saving for the 100 envelope challenge, being able to save as much as I can for the month of January. Well, bad winter weather is here. And it's got me sitting around slowing down, taking some time to think and reevaluate my situation. So, I'm going to pivot, which I guess by now, not too bad at. So I'm still going to save money. The envelope challenge is still there. It's just I've been saying what I was going to use that money for. And it just makes more sense when you stop and think about it. If you want to know my personal story, just watch the previous video that I just put out. But once I start talking it out loud and thinking about things, I wasn't doing it in the right order. So right now, I'm in survival mode, and I'm trying to get back on my feet personally and live in situation, all that. So you see me sitting here with this here by the wall in my tiny home. Yes, I'm proud to say I did this. I put up the tongue and groove. It's been actually kind of fun. So I'm working on finishing this building so that I can stay in it. And I've been able to pay a plumber as far as getting the plumbing to the building. But I've got to save up some money, enough money, to hire someone to finish, right? Whether it be the same person or somebody else. I've got to save up enough money to I've got all my appliances and things that I need to hook up. And I've got the water line coming in, but everything's not ran. Like, the bathroom shower, which I have. The bathroom sink, which I have. The toilet, which I have. The hot water heater, which I have. You get where I'm going with this. So rather than me, I was going at it about it wrong. The way I was trying to say, right, what my intentions were at the beginning, when I think about it, we're out of order. Because I'm staying in an RV, which is working for now. But I need to get out of the RV. I don't want to live in an RV long term. I want to make that as short as possible. So I don't need to be worried about paying off a bill, although it's important and I hate debt. But I need to get my priorities in order so that I can get grounded again in a place that I'm comfortable. Everything's available. You get where I'm going with that. So to get fully established back, instead of bouncing around from one thing to another, the RV to here, I work out of my tiny home here. I work from home. I need to get fully in my tiny home. That's my point. And so my goal, first and foremost, is I got an idea, which I thought was very interesting. I didn't think about. I kind of got help with an idea. And it makes the best sense for me to save up money for an emergency fund. But that's in case something happens, obviously, that I need to take care of, that I otherwise would be in a pickle to have to, address. Well, while I'm saving up for the emergency fund, of course, if something happens and I need to use the money, that's what an emergency fund is for. But I don't need to use it for anything but if an emergency occurs. Okay, the idea that I was given, and I really like it, was while I'm saving up for the emergency fund, if I need to use it, if something happens, fine. If I don't, that money winds up also being in conjunction, right, with money toward cash to finish my tiny home so that I can fully live in it. And I was like, Why didn't I think of that? So I'm on here to say that I'm pivoting. It makes a whole lot more sense for me to get stability back in my life before I worry about the debt payoff, which is important to me. But my stability is way more important. Like, so I rethought that priority, and it makes total sense. So I'm going to continue from now until however long it takes me, right? I'm going to continue to save money, and I'm going to continue to come on and do updates, and I'm going to continue to be accountable. But it's an emergency fund right now. That once I hit the number that I'm going to need to, my goal right now is $5,000. And then once I hit that number, I'm going to check and see, of course, again, if an emergency comes up and I need to use any of it, I will. And that's what an emergency fund is for. But I'm going to try my best to get to 5,000 as quick as I can. I've sat here today and went over my assets that I have that I could work on selling. Some of it I'm not ready to sell yet simply because the weather's not right. We got wintry mixed weather. I don't want to mess with some of it's outdoor stuff, all that, all the obvious stuff. But I need to work on that, and it made perfect sense. So again, let me just be clear on what I'm doing. I'm going to pay minimums on my debt bills, right? The stuff I talked about. I had to get borrow this to do that, to like get appliances, to get, whatever. Anyway, because I'd ran out of money. So I'm going to be real clear. I'm going to pay minimums on the bills that are already there anyway. I'm going to pay what they are. I'm not going to worry about paying extra. I'm instead going to work on that stability amount that I need, which again, I'm going to save $5,000, but I'm not going to stop there. But once I hit $5,000, saved up as that amount, I'm going to check and see how much it's going to cost to finish this tiny home as far as plumbing, tying those things in. And as soon as I have the money that it's going to take to do that, I'm going to have it done. And then while that's being done and accounted for, I'm also going to be continuing to save, and it's going to be the emergency fund after that. So the emergency fund after my sustainability is accomplished, and I'm in conjunction still saving money, I'm going to save $5,000 after that for the emergency fund, for if anything happens, just that cushion, right? Then once I've done that, those are the two most important things. Once I've done that, I'm going to start knocking out those bills, the actual debt, because I'll finally be where I need to be in my living situation. And it is just so much clearer. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I like that idea much better. Because I was starting to, as you can imagine, I was starting to think, well, I know the debt's important, but in the back of my mind, I felt like it, but it didn't really trigger a different thought. I was thinking, well, I'm putting off what I need to finish. So anyway, it just makes more sense. So that's my update. I'm going to continue to save. I'm going to continue to do the best I can. The end of the month of January is coming fast, right? It's a week away. So in that week, what I'm going to do at the end of January, it'll be the first part of February that I'll do the update for how January turned out. I'm going to give the total in which I was able to save, and that is going to be toward the $5,000 saved for me to move forward on finishing this tiny home. So that pivot seems to make a lot more sense to me personally. So, how are you doing? How is your savings going? What are you working on? I'd like to know. Comment down below. and like and subscribe. And I'll see you in about a week. Bye. Stay warm.